That was beautiful. Meg, you not only beautifully performed that song for us, but I want to point out that you wrote that as well. So thank you. The original music that we have here from this ministry just continues to astound me. It's really just lovely. And I love that line that says, I'm open to the miracle of birthing a new way. That really is what my talk is about today. So we could either just like take that thought and call it a day, or I could talk to you all for the next 20 minutes. Which one do you think I would prefer? Right about now. Yeah. Give me a couple minutes. I'm going to be glad I'm doing this. So we are studying Howard Falco's book, The Power of Discovering Who We Truly Are. And we're looking at chapters 6 and 7. And let me just tell you what these chapters are, and let's start wrapping our heads around it. Chapter 6 and 7, how you experience your self-definition. And chapter 7, how you create your state of mind. We don't exactly do spiritually light here at Unity on the River. You know, if you go out into just kind of mainstream public, you know, maybe you're going to a fall party this afternoon or a Halloween party this week, and you started to talk with people about like, oh, let's talk about how we experience our self-definition and create our state of mind. I mean, it's just weird. Nobody talks like that. Nobody talks like that because our culture also doesn't think like that, do we? So we've got to start wrapping our heads around this notion a little bit, because this really is the essence of understanding and discovering the truth and the power of who you really are. Because I'm going to assume that because of the culture that we live in and the way that we've been really conditioned to think about the way I am, that we might have a little leap that we need to make through this Adventures in Faith, okay? So in order to help with that leap, I thought I would bring some visual aids, some very fine and sophisticated visual aids, if we could begin. Because we have to get our heads around this a little bit. So it's all about how we create our state of mind or manage our mood. When I am in a good mood at work, I act like I'm in a bad mood, so nobody approaches me and ruins my good mood. Neat, huh? I'm going to try that. All right, good, so we got that. So here's another way that we manage ourselves. I don't have my glasses on. Hey, let's have a contest. Who can be bored the longest without reaching for their phone? First wheel, I'm out. That was taking forever to explain. Right? How do you manage your state? One of the things that all of us do when we're managing our state is like, where's my phone? Where's my phone? How many of you take it to the bathroom with you? Don't raise your hand. It's all right. I'm not going to either. All right? So then, it's my favorite one. I get in this weird mood where I don't want to talk to anybody and I just want to be left alone. I call this mood awake. Introverts unite. Right? So you're starting to get it. There's all these ways that we manage and create our state of mind. And how we experience our state of mind is in direct proportion to how we define ourselves to be. You want to just start taking that in. So what does our culture say about how you came to be? I am this way because what? My mother was that way. That's the way I was raised. That's the culture I'm in. Because I'm Latino, because I'm gay, because my parents were alcoholic. Right? Did I miss any? Oh, because I'm straight. Well, what about because of what? Yeah, dads. Because my dad was vacant. Because my mother was depressed. Right? Vacant. Is that the wrong word? No. So, absent. Absent. or vacant. No, it's even worse when your dad is present, but he's vacant. Right? It's just such a drag, right? Kind of like me right now doing this talk. I'm cracking myself up. All right. All right, good. So that's this notion that we have. I am this way because X happened to me in the past, and therefore I have this state of mind. Where we're going today is, what if that's not true? Because I'm sure you all know, I want you to think for a little minute. Think about families that you know that had more than 2 or 3 kids, and some of them like just, train wrecks, and some of them are superstars, right? I was raised in a very, very rural area of upstate New York where everyone not only knows every family in the neighborhood, but every dog and what family they belong to, and their names, like that, really small. And there was this one family, I was very close to them, and they had 8 kids. Of those 8 kids, 3 of them had a very, very difficult lives, drug addiction, drug abuse, and in fact, 2 of them died young. 2 of them stayed in the local area, kind of just working odd jobs here and there, just getting by. And 3 of them moved on out of the area and had fabulous professional careers and great experiences in their families. How do you make sense of that? Same gene pool, same family, same little town, same school, same teachers, completely different expressions in life, right? How about this? I'm actually going to read this to make sure I get it right. How about someone who was born to a teenage, impoverished, unwed mother, moved around her entire childhood between mother, grandmother, father, and other relatives, became pregnant at age 14, only to lose the child soon after it was born, to death. The child died soon after it was born. Raised in extreme poverty, beaten with a stick by various caretakers, sexually abused here and there with various family members as well. Oprah Winfrey. I am the way I am because of my past. Well, how do you explain that? And then this. Experienced the death of a parent early in life, raised by alcoholic mother and stepfather, physically and sexually abused throughout childhood, raised in poor economic conditions, experienced drug and alcohol abuse and other addictions in adulthood, victim of domestic violence, multiple psychiatric diagnoses, treated with psychiatric medications. That's me. I love you too, honey. That's me. And I'm just fine. All right, don't you weigh in on that with your own observation. I don't want to hear it, right? All of you clinicians sitting out there are like, wow, really? I wonder what diagnosis she had. What meds was she on? Stop, come back, right? That's me. But I'm not given by my past. I'm not given by what happened to me. I'm given by my belief that who I am is God expressing, making the glory of God manifest on earth. Being my God self on earth. Howard Falco says in his book that your self-definition of your past only exists in your self-definition for as long as you allow it to. Isn't that powerful? That your self-definition of your past only exists as long as you allow it to. Let me see if there was something else I wanted to say about that. It was a really great quote, if I can find it. I can, really, I know I can. Yeah, who you were in the past is not who you are now. You decide who you are in each and every moment. Your former self-definition will be as much of your present and future experience as you allow. But what do? We walk around with this notion. Just yesterday, I was at basketball practice. I'm a basketball player, and someone commented on how happy my son is. They're like, he's such a happy kid. And I said, I know, I am so blessed to be his mom. I'm just so moved that his soul chose me. And she's like, well, it's how you're raising him. It's got nothing to do with that. I mean, I don't beat him on a regular basis, and I feed him and stuff like that. I suppose that could dampen his little spirit. But just notice how automatic that is. He's that way because you're raising him. And while I appreciate the acknowledgement, and I do want to raise my child in a way that is loving and supportive. What I believe is, and I told her this, I believe he came to me that way, and it's just my job to get out of the way, to allow him to be the truth of who he is. And I believe that if we start raising ourselves that way, rather than basing our identity, our self-definition, and therefore our state of mind on our external experiences, we will, as the song said, experience the miracle of birthing a new way. But you've got to get under the degree to which you have believed this other paradigm, right? You've got to, it's what Charles Fillmore calls the world of your senses. Charles Fillmore is the co-founder of the Unity Church movement, the Unity Religious and Spiritual movement, and he taught that the world of your senses is one expression in life. It's one part of your human experience, and you know what I mean by the world of your senses, what you're experiencing, what you're hearing, seeing, tasting, touching, feeling, versus the world of your consciousness, which is what in Unity and in New Thought we believe creates your outer expression. So where our focus needs to be is not on the world of your senses. He said that, she said that, I won the contract, I'm happy, I lost the job, I'm sad, but on our inner experience creating our outer results. So if this is the case, that perhaps then you could start even wondering, is the Freudian psychological model wrong? Or is it at least incomplete? You know, there have been other scientific truths, facts that have been proven wrong, aren't there? In the 1800s, we believed that the Earth was about 20 to 40 million years old. And that was the belief system right up until the mid-20th century. And in the mid-20th century, it was found that the Earth is actually 4.55 billion years old. That was just a little bit off in their calculations. Little bit, missed the mark on that one. Or how about this? Up until the 1920s, it was believed that the universe itself was static and unmoving. And with the advent of, does anyone know what changed that? The Hubble telescope. I know, this is a very intelligent audience. Being a speaker in Massachusetts is a trip. It's like, I've got all these fact checkers back there. Like, no, Jackie, it was actually 1925 that occurred. So in the early 1920s, the advent of the Hubble telescope actually allowed us to see that the universe itself is expanding. Isn't that mind-blowing? That the universe was expanding, and in the late 1990s, we found, in fact, that the universe is expanding at ever-accelerating rates. Things that make you go, The universe is expanding at ever-accelerating rates. So I have this vision, and I hope you'll join me with it. I have this vision that our grandchildren's grandchildren will be sitting around some Unity church someday saying like, wow, isn't it a riot that back in the day they used to think that how you are and experience life was based on the past? Right? Because we've seen other scientific truths and facts fall by the wayside. So perhaps this notion that who you are is based on your past experience is erroneous or at the very least limited. Certainly, I shared those things with you about my early life experience, and what I want to say about it is that it doesn't define me because I don't believe that that has to define you. I was on the phone doing a coaching call with someone in my Life Mastery course yesterday, and she said, Jackie, I was so moved by hearing what you've been through because you've really had to do the work. Were you always this way? I was like, oh God, no. I was a train wreck because I was wedded to the psychological model. And in the psychological model, I was a victim of A, B, C, and D. And that's how I experienced life. In our services, we often do a talk about what unity means to me. And what unity means to me, what New Thought truth principle means to me is my life. I literally got my life out of discovering that I am not my past. Like, woohoo! Thank God, because I wasn't loving that so much. And I have a great life. So what do? We have these two notions, right, of in psychology, they say who you are is based on your past, and in New Thought and metaphysics, we say who you are is based on what? Yeah, on your divinity, on who you say you are. In fact, there's an emerging school of thought called conscious evolution. Barbara Marx Hubbard, Ken Wilber, Craig Hamilton, and other wonderful, wonderful spiritual teachers are now saying that we're as a species, we're evolving. Makes sense, right? Remember that thing about the universe? It's expanding at accelerated rates. Well, what if that's because we are? What if it's because who we are as human beings is evolving beyond the notion that who I am, how I experience my self-definition, how I experience my state of mind is based on my past, to the definition of conscious evolution, being awake and aware, and get this, fully responsible for your inner world, your well-being, and the direction of your life and humanity. Oh, we'll just throw that in. It's intense, isn't it? Let me say it again. What'd you say? No pressure. That's right. No pressure there. No pressure on that one. So let me say it again. I really want you to get this, because this is the paradigm that I believe we are evolving into. Conscious evolution is being awake and aware. So we got to start there, right? That means you are able to reflect on yourself. And by the way, when I say reflect on yourself, I mean on how am I being about this circumstance. I had a coaching call this week with someone where I asked for her self-expression, self-observation about an upset she was having. And she observed what the other person was doing and her opinion about it. Right? That is not self-observation. Self-observation is, well, who I'm being about this is a victim. Who I'm being about this is angry and righteous and justified. Who I'm being about this is a low consciousness victim, that this can be done to me. That is self-observation. In my life mastery class, I boil all that down by saying, what level of consciousness is that? One of my favorite quotes, George Bernard Shaw, I'd rather be a force of nature than a feverish clod of ailments and grievances complaining that the world will not devote itself to making me happy. Let's hear it for force of natures, right? So that is what conscious evolution, what I'm talking about in self-reflection. Not, yes, I'm very aware that I'm pissed off because you're a jerk. No. I am fully aware that I have given you the power to impact my state of mind. And I'm choosing to bring that power back with me. Because my life is always unfolding for the good, Romans 8:28. If you believe that, you move forward reflecting on, I've chosen through some self-definition to allow my state of mind to be something other than peaceful. Right? So in conscious evolution, you begin having this opportunity to understand that my life, my experience, and each now moment is my own expression, through my own self-definition. And you are doing this all the time. All the time. And you have to choose. You cannot serve two masters. Howard says in his book that the key to a happy life is to be fully aware of your self-definitions, but not attached to them, not attached like I have to be that way, I have to be seen and respected this way, but also fully enjoying them at the same time. So I had an experience a couple of years ago where I was doing consulting work at an organization, and I was hired, well, in my interpretation, I was hired to do culture change work. In the interpretation of the management, I was being hired to fix those people. Any consultants out there ever been hired for that? Right? The problem is out there, and they had to bring in someone else to fix that problem over there. So as I went through the early process doing the assessment, it became clear to me that I needed to expand the evaluation and assessment phase to include everyone in the organization. And let's just say management didn't like that. So rather than coming to me and telling me, we don't like that, what do you think they did instead? Fired me. Yeah, didn't go that far. Close. They thought about it. Murmur, 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 murmur. Right? The emails going round and round, the meetings being held, questioning my competence, questioning my integrity, questioning my ethics. Well, she's just trying to expand the length of this contract so she can make more money. right? All without talking to me. So sooner or later, I caught wind of it. They didn't fire me, thank goodness. I got to hang around. But I caught wind of it, and I read some of the emails. And so let's just go there, right? So you're there, like, really wanting to make a difference, like we all do, wanting to be a contribution, wanting to see things go better for this organization, and boom, ethics, credibility, integrity, everything, boom, 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 being questioned. What's your reaction? Anger, shock, a little screw you. I don't like you, and I'm not going to play in your sandbox anyway. Right? And if I wanted to be given by my sensory world, the world of conversation, communication, relationships, what I'm seeing, hearing, thinking, feeling, I might have done that. Fine, very well. Have your problem. I'm out of here. Conscious evolution. I'm willing to be awake and aware. I'm hurt. I'm embarrassed. I'm angry. I'm upset. Fine, I'm a human being. We have emotions. But here's the trick. You don't want to have your emotions have you. You want to have, so I could look like, oh, wow, that really hurts my feelings. I'm really upset. So then I thought, okay, but I'm evolving consciously. I didn't really think that, but it fits in this talk really well, doesn't it? I'm evolving consciously. What do I want to do? But I actually did have the thought, how do I want to have this experience? Because I'm not going to just be swept along with the way it's going. How do I want to have this experience? And I thought, well, I want to feel like I'm contributing. I want to feel respected. I want to feel like I'm credible. I want to feel loved. I want to feel loved. So my acting out in anger and retaliation, pointing the finger back over here, isn't going to do that. So I got on the phone and I called each and every one of those managers. And I said, I hear there's an upset. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that there was something that I did or decisions that I made that left you feeling this upset, and I didn't anticipate that. Note to self, don't make changes in the process without informing people, right? So I learned something. Note to self. And I had a conversation with each and every one of those person beginning that way. I hear you're upset. I'm sorry that there was something I did. And then, can I tell you what I was thinking? Each and every manager got on board. And it was a huge turning point in the whole process. I didn't get fired. They did extend my contract. Wasn't the point, but they did. So as Howard says in his book, the key to happiness is to see your self-definition, determine it. How do I want to be? Not be reactive. They said this, I feel this way, therefore I will. No. How do I want to feel? And then move forward with the behavior and the actions that will produce that result. That is conscious evolution. That is the power of discovering who you really are. That is how you can create your state of mind. I felt great. But you cannot serve two masters, can you? You've got to choose. And honestly, I see too many of you fencing it. You know what I mean by that? Like, I know that I'm a child of God expressing my highest divinity, but you don't understand because my life was, but I know I can have the, I see too many of you doing that dance. You cannot serve two masters. It says in John chapter 3, you must be born again. Jesus is speaking to Nicodemus, and Nicodemus says, what do you mean? I can't go back into the mother's womb and be born again. But what does that mean? You must be born again of spirit. What that means is you have to be born again in consciousness. And what if it means you have to evolve from your belief in psychology to your belief in conscious evolution and spirituality? It says in Matthew chapter 13, 44 and 45. Matthew 13, 44 and 45. The kingdom of God is like a merchant searching for a fine pearl. And when he finds it, he takes everything he has and sells it so that he can buy that pearl of great price. It's a parable, right? So let's break it down. The kingdom of God, where is the kingdom of God? Within. It's, just to be really clear, it's sitting in your seat. It's sitting in your seat. The kingdom of God is right here. We are experiencing and creating the kingdom of God, heaven on earth, right here, right now. Right? So the kingdom of God is like a merchant seeking for the great pearl, the pearl of great value. What is that? That's you seeking the truth. That is you searching for truth principle to guide your life and your spiritual and human expression. So, seeking the great pearl, and once he finds it, I love this. Once he finds it, he doesn't say like, well, yeah, I'll negotiate about this. Let me think about it a little bit. No, he sells everything he owns, all of his possessions, to buy that great pearl. What is that? What are your possessions? Your thoughts, your beliefs, your misguided interpretations about the way life is. Sell them. In fact, give them away. Drop your cloak and run from it. Because this is the true power of discovering who you really are. You are not your past. You are your I am expression right here, right now. How you get to know that is through opening your heart and looking to see, who do I want to be? Just like I did in that tiny little example. Who did I want to be? How did I want to experience myself? Who do you want to be? And then you move forward knowing that that is your pearl of great price. And you sell everything else in order to obtain it. You have truth principle right here, right now. You have the spiritual community. You have your spiritual walk. You have your spiritual practices. You have the wisdom, today's celebration, you have the wisdom of your inner knowing that you do not have to be defined by your past. You are the light of God expressing. And anything short of that is missing the mark, in fact, is sin. Step up. Tell the truth of who you are and tell it unabashedly. I know who I am, and it is from this ground that I create this fabulous miracle of life. God bless you.
We are connected by the heart. Where do you end and where do I start? Anything you pray for, if fear is in your way, I am here to listen to anything you need to say. Your prayer is my prayer too. Your prayer is my prayer too. Whatever you feel, I feel too. You're a part of me and I'm a part of you. Your prayer is my prayer too. My prayer too.
Just center ourselves now for a moment of quiet reflection. If you're comfortable doing so, I invite you to close your eyes and take anything from your lap that might encumber you for this moment of presence and peace. Let's begin by taking a deep cleansing breath together. Perhaps you're feeling the energy of this message. Perhaps you're feeling challenged with this notion of stepping firmly into your divinity. Perhaps there's some place that you feel like you have difficulty letting go of the stories and the experiences of your past. Just let that be right now. Just let it be. Because we know and affirm that anything, in fact everything, can and will be dissolved into the light of Christ consciousness. Breathe that in. I am the light of God expressing. Say that silently to yourself now. I am the light of God expressing. You take a moment now to call to mind for yourself your own life journey. The relationships, those that have sustained you and perhaps those that have left you broken. Your body, how it has served you. Your beliefs about money. Any challenges that you may have had there. Any blessings. Your identity. Your identity in your social class, your ethnic group, your spiritual community, your family. Who do you say you are? I am. I am are the two most powerful and creative words in the universe. It's through the I am consciousness that Jesus the Christ knew fully his oneness with God. The Father and I are one. The Father is your consciousness. I is your awareness of your consciousness. Father and I are one. Feel the vibration of this truth principle in the room right now. Allow yourself to take in the notion, I and the Father are one. Allow yourself to experience your own presence, your own Christed nature right here, right now, together as a spiritual family, as we go into the silence with simply this thought, I am. I am. Just take that thought now into this vibration and into the silence. Inside the truth of this message lies your spiritual freedom. You are the light of God expressing. You and the Father are one. You can, you will, in fact, you must continue to create your world in alignment with your divine nature, in peace, in harmony, and in unconditional love. And so it is.
Hear the worries that are in There's nothing I can do to take the pain away, but I'll help you reconnect with the voice that's deep inside. Let angels wrap you in their love and let spirit be your guide. Your prayer is my prayer too. Your prayer is my prayer too. Whatever you feel, I feel too. You're a part of me and I'm a part of you. Your prayer is my prayer. Your prayer is my prayer. Your prayer is my prayer too. My prayer too.
We receive the prayers of this prayer box knowing that no prayer is ever returned void. We know that these prayers have been brought forth with faith, and it is with love that we receive them. May the hearts and minds who've expressed these prayers be comforted even now.